There is a place, lost in the high deserts and jagged peaks of the ancient world, that travelers spoke of only in whispers. A name that meant heretics. A legend of a garden that was heaven. A king who was a prophet, and an army that longed for death. This is the story, not from a fairy tale, but from the meticulous ledger of the world's greatest traveler, Marco Polo. He called it the land of Mulahet, and this was one of his discoveries. In a fortress that feared no man, the Sheikh of the mountain ruled. His name was Alauddin, and his power didn't come from the size of his army, but from the devotion of his followers. He gathered the strongest, most fervent youths from the surrounding valleys. He lived in splendor, and to the simple mountain folk, he seemed less a king and more a prophet. And to bind them to him completely, he built a promise, a physical, tangible promise. He found a hidden valley, a secret cleft between two immense mountains, and there he commissioned a masterpiece. Not just a garden, but the garden, the very picture of paradise as promised by their faith of Islam. Picture it, the most beautiful garden ever seen, fruit of every kind, perfect and heavy on the bough, palaces adorned with gold, painted with every earthly delight, with some of the most beautiful women the world has ever seen. And through it all, 4 rivers, one of wine, one of milk, one of honey, and one of water. These beautiful harem of women, unmatched in singing, dancing, and anything pertaining to music. A feast for all the senses. Alauddin told his men,
"This is paradise. This is the reward our Prophet Muhammad promised."
And they looked upon his creation, and they believed. But this paradise had a single, brutal gatekeeper, an impregnable castle, and no one entered by accident. The Sheikh's chosen youths would be gathered. He would offer them a drugged wine, and they would fall into a deep sleep. They would awaken in the garden to the scent of blossoms and honey, to the sound of music, to the presence of those beautiful attendants who would fulfill their every desire. For these young men, it was real. This was paradise, and they wanted nothing more than to stay forever. And the Sheikh would offer them the only way back, absolute obedience. He had done it. He had created a man who had tasted heaven and would do anything to return. For such a man, death is not a threat. It's the doorway home. When the Sheikh wanted an enemy, a lord, a governor, even a king, dead, he would choose his most zealous disciple.
"Go. If you die, my power sends you back to paradise all the sooner."
These were his assassins. They struck without warning, without any chance of negotiation, and without any fear of capture or death. He would instruct them to kill whoever was not in his favor and bring back stolen booties from them. For years, this silent shadow empire held terrible power. Kings paid tribute to the old man of the mountain, terrified of the ghostly blade that could find anyone, wielded by a hand that no one ever saw. But all secret kingdoms must eventually be seen. In 1262, the Mongol war machine, under Hulagu Khan, brother of Kublai, turned its eye to this mountain thorn. Hulagu sent his most relentless generals to lay siege to the unconquerable castle. For 3 long years they besieged it. The fortress walls, which no army could break, held firm. But the Mongols understood a simpler truth. An army cannot eat stone. They waited. They tightened the noose. And slowly, inevitably, the food within ran out. The fortress fell not to force, but to famine. Alaeddin was captured and executed. His followers were scattered. The garden, that beautiful, terrible illusion, was left to wither. The rivers of wine and honey dried up. The music faded into the mountain winds. So ends the story of the assassins and their manufactured paradise, a testament not just to the power of faith, but to the power of a stolen heaven. A lesson in how the deepest yearning of the human heart for paradise and purpose can be the most potent and most poisonous weapon of all. This can also be seen with Islamic modern terrorists who convince their members of Jannah heaven for their martyrdom activities. These led to suicide bombings like 9/11, orchestrated by Osama bin Laden.